Hello, Twins fans. Welcome back to another episode of From Lee to Limestone. I'm Matt Lenz with Twins Daily, and today we have a special guest joining us from Wichita. Well, he's not in Wichita right now, but currently with the Wichita Wind Surge in Anthony Prato. So, Anthony Prato, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to have you. So, you were drafted in 2019, seventh round pick out of UConn. Kind of a two-part question to start. What was the transition like from college to pros? I know that was a while ago now. And then also, you've moved up through the system from rookie ball to up to Double A now. And what has been the biggest jump from level to level? Which one do you think was the most challenging for you?
Um, yeah, touching on the first one, definitely I think the biggest adjustment is just being on your own and just having baseball to focus on. You know, in college, it's schoolwork first and then baseball. Especially at UConn, we really emphasize the schoolwork part. So, yeah, but it definitely helped in Elizabethton. A lot of our guys were actually college guys because we didn't have a short season team. So a lot of us were college guys, and going through that together, it definitely helped. Touch on the second one with the differences throughout the levels. I think the biggest difference is just the pitchers are more in zone with off speed, and that'll result in a lot of softer contact. It might not be as much swing and miss, but softer contact and tougher to elevate the ball. That's really the biggest difference I've seen. The stuff is kind of it's the same throughout. Like you got some guys with really good stuff, some guys who can't locate one pitch, and then you're able to just sit on one. But I definitely think the in zone with off speed is the biggest difference.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear you say that. I think when a lot of people think about just the off-speed pitching and being in the zone, I think they do think swing and miss, but soft contact, especially nowadays
Mm-hmm.
with exit velocities and everything, is a big
Yeah,
part
for
of that.
sure.
And as a former 10-year teacher and baseball coach, I appreciate the emphasis on the school part of your experience at UConn for
Definitely.
sure. But you have a really unique skill set. You're a super utility. I think of kind of like Marwin Gonzalez. You can play everywhere. I'm sure you can play catcher. I'm sure you could
Yeah.
pitch if you really needed to. You haven't played those positions yet, but you've played pretty much everywhere else. You've hit at every level. You won an organizational award from MLB.com last year. But if you had to pick one spot, what would be maybe just like your favorite position and or your best position, do you feel?
Um, I think my favorite position. Well, it depends on the day, honestly. I like second base just because I feel more like involved in the game. In left field, I feel like I'm just standing out there waiting for something to happen. Second base, I always feel like I'm in the play. But honestly, everywhere. I kind of like first base last year too. It's pretty fun. It was just different angle. I remember the first inning I played at first base. Kids smoked one right at Amar, and I was panicking trying to find the base, going back to catch it, and he threw it, felt on me, and it was scary. But once you get used to it, it's fine. So I kind of like there too. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember. I mean, I know this is at the major league level, but I think it was a while back when Elvis Andrus was with Texas. They did like a Sports Center science thing, and he was throwing like off his foot, and it was still coming in at 90 plus miles an
Yeah.
hour, and it's
Hmm.
just crazy when you think of that. But yeah, just really impressive how you can play all over the field. Um, Switching gears a little bit, big news end of March was the minor league baseball CBA agreement, and you can answer and get into it or as much or as little as you want. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. Wanted to ask you about the biggest impact that's had on you. I know it's only been 2 months, but maybe even looking ahead to the off season. I don't know if you've been a guy that's needed to get a part time job to kind of make ends meet or what, but just if you're willing, what are your thoughts on the CBA and how has that impacted you?
Um, Honestly, I haven't really paid much attention to it. I know I'm in the group chat, and a lot of guys here are really involved in it, which is great. But I honestly don't understand a lot of it, and don't really try not to pay too much attention to it. I just focus on playing, and whatever happens after that, money wise, it's yeah, I play because I enjoy playing, not to make a few extra dollars here. So I really haven't really paid much attention to it, honestly.
Sure, that makes sense. Now, kind of more on some personal notes here, some personal questions. Brent Hedrick yesterday made his major league debut. That's somebody that I didn't compare timelines exactly, but I'd assume that you played with here and
Hmm.
there quite a bit coming up. How cool is it to see somebody that is a teammate, maybe even a buddy of yours, achieve his dream? And does that motivate you? Does that inspire you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, me and Festo were watching him pitch last night. Um, I mean, with Eddie going up too recently, Wallner, and they're playing in New York too, back where I'm from. So they're all texting me where to go after the game for food and everything. Louis, so I mean, it's definitely cool, and it's just weird like seeing because I love watching baseball and then seeing guys who I'm like really good friends with playing and rooting for them. It's definitely a cool experience.
Yeah, I did notice you're from Brooklyn, New York, so I got to ask: is it Yankees or is it Mets?
The Yankees, yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Uh,
Twins territory might have a hard time with that, but
I know, I know.
hopefully we're turning it around a little bit. And so, since you brought it up, where do we got to eat if we're in New York?
My favorite place for sure is L&B Spumoni Gardens on 86th Street in Brooklyn. It's the best pizza ever. I told Walner and Eddie I'd buy their Uber for them if they want to go, but they didn't want to go. But it's the best pizza ever, and I definitely recommend if you're out there going.
All right,
You got to get the
perfect.
Sicilian slice though, only Sicilian.
Okay, all right. And last question here, just what are your goals for this season? Obviously, big picture, trying to make the 40-man roster, trying to make it to the major leagues. But maybe what are some smaller goals, that skills maybe that you're working on this season to improve?
Um, I think just adding more power. I think I touched on that a little bit last year. Um, Hitting what I think like 10 home runs or something like that, but trying to add more power, lifting the ball more for sure, and honestly, just trying to win. I mean, my I've been here 3-4 years. It's weird with COVID. I can't really remember how many years I've been here, but
Hmm.
we made the championship back-to-back years and lost both times. So it'd be nice to finally win one.
Yeah, yeah, get that figurative monkey off your back, so to speak,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
All right, I lied. One more question. It's an off day. You've got no obligations to be at the ballpark. You're taking a day off from training. What are you doing with your time?
I'm watching. I'm definitely watching sports. I'm a big New York fan. Knicks playoffs, Devils. I'm a Devils fan. So big game tonight. It's the Rangers. Yeah, Giants. So I'm watching sports, playing video games. I like reading too, cooking. I'm a pretty good cook, so
All right.
I enjoy that.
Awesome. What's your go-to dish?
I just like pasta and meatballs. I make that pretty good, so
Yeah.
that's my go-to.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been great getting to know you and just getting your thoughts on some of the stuff that's happening in minor league baseball. And you had a really good year in 2022, and I just hope to see you continue to succeed in 2023 and beyond. Hope to get you added to that 40-man roster and maybe someday see in the big leagues like we did with Hedrick. But thanks again for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.